just like we did on the last assignment, we're trying to find the equation of the lines, but without graphing. So we could always draw a graph and find 3, 2, and then use the slope up 2 over 1 or down 2 left, and try to figure out the y-intercept that way. But you want to be able to do it without that. So notice how all of these answers, like number 1, it's either going to be G or R. So it's one of those two. You only have 2 to really choose from there. And you notice how they're both y equals 2x, right? Because they already gave you that much. You already know the slope is 2. Like on number 2, the slope is -3, so that's why both of these start with y equals -3. So the majority of the work is to find out what is the y-intercept. 1 or -4. It's 7 or 2.
Oh, look at me, I didn't do that. Oh my god.
So let's do number 1 in the number 1 box. Go ahead and write this part down. Okay. So n equals 2 and then 3, 2. Write that down.
Rewrite this.
Okay, and then write y equals mx plus b. So it's tempting to skip this step and say, well, I can just do it without writing anything down, but that's when mistakes usually start. So let's be careful. I'm going to color code this. So this is y, right? So I know that's going to go right here. This is the x. I'll make that red. And M2. As long as we plug everything in the right place, it should be okay. We've got 2 equals. And 2 times. As long as we solve that correctly, we get our right y-intercept and our answer. Let's go through and do that real fast. I'll give you guys a chance to try it out. So 2 times 3 is 6. Very good. Bring down the plus b. So that next step, you just bring down the 2, the equals, plus b. We just do that one little calculation. And then a little algebra. Subtract 6 and 4. Okay. That equals 0. 2 minus 6 is -4. Remember, we already know the beginning of our answer. Y equals mx. 2 is from right here. And all this work is just to find that one number minus 4. That's what we did on Friday. This is just a little more review on that. And you can go back up here and find which one was it, the first or the second. Looks like it was R. So for number 1, down below, make sure you put R. And some of them have only 1 letter, but like number 2, there's 2 of them, so you put the same letter in both places. So go ahead and do the first few. You can see the equations are pretty simple. And then when we get to about halfway point in number 6, we'll come back and do a little bit more practice with fractions. So go ahead and start working on that. Check each other as you go along. Remember, if your answer is not one of these 2, there must be a mistake. Okay? And you want to fix that before moving on. All right, let's look at some of these that start with a fraction. Say like number 6, 7, 8. You'll notice that they have fraction slopes here. Right? And some of them have fraction y-intercepts, which is not usual. Okay? So we'll look at a few of those. I thought we did 7 and 8. And you guys should do 6 and 9. So let's do 7. -2/3, 3, 4. 7. And then 2/3 and 3, 4. And as I mentioned before, number 1, start off by writing just y equals mx plus b. No numbers yet. Do that first because the most common mistake is actually putting the wrong number in the wrong place. And if you like, you can even label this x map y, x comma y. So we have everything labeled as plugging in. We have the slope, the m, the x, and the y. That'll probably eliminate any errors of plugging things in the wrong place. So y equals 4 equals
Sure.
negative 2/3, and then times 3. Always put the x in parentheses. Now, to do the fractions, remember, don't freak out about this. Fractions are just two things at once. It's a multiplication and a division. It's both. It's one on top, which is multiply, and the bottom is division. You just have to do both of them individually, and it doesn't matter which order you're going. So you can do negative 2 times 3, which is negative 6. Right? And then do negative 6 divided by 3, which is negative 2. Or you can do 3 divided by 3, which is 1, and 1 times negative 2. No matter which way you do it, you get the same answer. Typically, multiply and then divide. Multiply the top, divide by the bottom. Negative 6 divided by 3 is negative 6. So you can do that. And then, since this is negative 2, let's add 2 both sides. That's 6 equals b. And so our final answer is y equals negative 2/3 x plus 6. 7. 7. And you see it to be I. 7 plus I. Okay. Do one more with a y-intercept that's a fraction as well. Number 8, 4/3, and negative 2 comma 0. So we can write up the question, 4/3, coordinate, negative 2 comma 0, and then write average below it, 1 none. Like x above negative 2, y above 0, so we put everything in the right place. Then 0 equals 4/3 times x negative 2. Now, you'll see here, if you try to divide by 3, it doesn't really work. So, when it doesn't go evenly, you just leave it at the bottom. So we can do 4 times negative 2, right? That's negative 8. Over 3, or divided by 3, but since it doesn't go evenly, we just leave it over 3. So keep in mind that this means 8 divided by 3. That's the meaning of a fraction. A fraction is a division problem that will not go even. You'll get some sort of decimal. So instead of getting the decimal, we'll leave it like this. Right? And then we can solve just like normal. So minus 8/3, we can add 8/3 also. So it's actually less work here. Not by much, but it is less. Over here we had to do 2 times 3, and then divide by 3 and get another number. On this one we just did 4 times 2 and couldn't divide, so we only had to do 4 times 2 and made it 8/3. So we have 8/3 as our y-intercept, and the slope is also a fraction for both. You get a fraction for both slope and y-intercept. That would be Troy's second one, I believe. Well, yes. So for letter 8 is letter N. And there you go. Okay. So finish up everything you can. We got about 15 minutes. And